As it is week 0, it has come finally to us, and that's the first thing up. The pre-snap Wednesday preview for the weekend's games. Let us begin with Idaho State versus UNLV. That's technically the second game of the day. We will end this segment with Iowa State versus Kansas State because it's the biggest one. But for Idaho State at UNLV, coming off the tongue, wrong there, and that's a little bit of a shaky beginning here. But regardless, Dan Mullen's first game. This is going to be somewhat of an interesting test, I think, because it was announced today that OG and Calandre, the two transfers, one from Michigan, the other from Virginia, will both be getting the snaps in this one. Which isn't too bad because, Idaho State is the FCS team they'll be coming up against, and it shouldn't be too much of a risk. They're going to be learning a lot about those two, taking the reins over from Williams last year. They definitely did have an interesting quarterback situation. We'll see how it all turns out. I think Calandre will probably be the starter at the end of it when the dust settles because... Orgy is just going to be the guy that comes in for more running situations, to be quite honest with you. And that's what he did for Michigan last year in some clutch moments, to be, again, honest with you on that one. And then the other big thing is going to be the transfer haul. How is that all going to look in action? Even their offensive line, I think all 5 starters are coming from other places. I think in total... the defense will have 9 new starters coming out of the portal, and then the offense is around that number. Obviously, there's going to be interchanging because of formations and personnel. But yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens in action. Hopefully, they do not lose this game because that would not be good for the Mountain West. But yeah, our prediction, we got UNLV winning that one. Pretty obvious. Because it's the only FCS opponent that is participating for week 0 against an FBS one. You got to go with the Rebels. Fresno State at Kansas. Matt Entz era begins for the Valley Dogs of Fresno State. Can the Mountain West also get a win over Kansas once again? UNLV did this last year. We just mentioned that quarterback situation. It was Sluka, who then moved on. Not midway through the year, it was like the first 3 or 4 games, said peace out Girl Scout, and then Williams took the reins. Here we have I think it's EJ Warner, Kurt Warner's son, will be the starting quarterback for the Bulldogs. That's going to be a pretty interesting test for him on the road of the new stadium, which I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head, but the Jayhawks just renovated their new home field. It looks pretty gnarly. I saw a pretty sick drone shot that started all the way back where this little monolith is. I don't know what it's actually called. Comes into the stadium. You saw a really nice view. The seating looks pretty sick, and it looks a lot more vertical when you look at it from the field. This looks a little bit more intimidating. We'll see if that comes into play for later games during the season. Jalen Daniels and some new weapons. Cam Pickett out of Ball State is kind of the one I'm looking at to be kind of his, I guess, go-to guy in this. And the big thing to, I think, also see for Kansas is the Jayhawks secondary. Lost a couple big pieces, even though they are not on NFL rosters, I believe, at the moment. Kobe Bryant. Not the late great Kobe Bryant, but the cornerback that got a lot of interceptions in a Jayhawk uniform the past couple of seasons and helped, win a lot of games for KU in those years. We'll see how that transitions. And also, again, it's the new Matt Entz era. Regardless of who's in charge of Fresno State, they usually make it a game. They've gotten wins over power conference foes in years past and been very competitive. I think this is going to be probably the one that'll have the closest score line. Maybe it's the Stanford Hawai'i game as well. But this is going to be that one. We are going to be going and picking Kansas. We just don't think Fresno State's going to be ready for this week 0 game. But during the season, they should be challenging a lot of teams on their schedule that maybe they wouldn't be, because again, it's a new coach, a new season. Just got to get, all of the eggs in order. We'll see how that goes. The next game for week 0 for this pre-snap Wednesday, we got Sam Houston at Western Kentucky over in Bowling Green, Kentucky. A big note is Phil Longo's first game for Sam Houston State. How is he going to do for the Bearcats as he returns? Former offensive coordinator back when Sam Houston was at the FCS level, helped them win a national championship. What was, I think, 2016, in and around that time. Very successful. Did have a bad stint up in Wisconsin as their offensive coordinator. Just had a really bad time of it. But we'll see how he does in his first time as a head coach, I believe. I don't think he's been a head coach ever in his coaching career. And then Todd Helton. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Or it might be Tom Helton. Very consistent guy that's been really able to adapt in this new era in a revolving door of rosters, and whatever he puts out on the field, it seems just to be more than good enough to make the Hilltoppers uber competitive for a Conference USA team. How will that translate this year? Hopefully everything works out. I love me some Big Red, their mascot that we're seeing there on the helmet. He's one of my favorites in all of college football. And then even the social media game coming from Western Kentucky is pretty undefeated as well. They had a pretty gnarly post of it was like a raccoon and a Big Red there, in some night vision, with their eyes glowing, looking at their next opponent, which is Sam Houston. For us, we are going to go with the team that doesn't have the new head coach. That would be Western Kentucky. We're going tops there to win. There for, again, week 0. Hopefully we go undefeated. I think we missed we got the Hawai'i game because they played Delaware State. It was New Mexico versus Montana State in 2024. That was the one game I believe we missed. Hopefully we don't miss any of these this season like we did in 2023. Another pre-snap Wednesday preview for Stanford at Hawai'i. We got the Nerds versus the Rainbow Warriors. The game that the sun will be out while it's pitch black at your house, basically. And that's the reason why we love watching Hawai'i games in their home field. Because again, even I'm pretty far on the West Coast. I can almost see the ocean from where I am. Technically, I mean, if I get on a mountain, I could definitely see it. And it's, completely dark, and somehow, some way, Hawai'i still has all that light going on, and it's pretty awesome to kind of witness, just in general, no matter who is playing them. Obviously, this year, they don't have an FCS opponent. Last season, they started off against Delaware State. I think the year before that was Albany, another FCS school, which they struggled in Timmy Chang's inaugural season as a head coach for the Rainbow Warriors. But I think he's definitely developed this program to be more competitive, just like his back when he was playing for Hawai'i, and set those records of being the all-time passer, which then got surpassed by Case Keenum later on as he was a super duper senior over at Houston. My key kind of things here to watch is the new quarterback for Stanford, the former Oregon State Beaver, Ben Goldbrinson. Is the new starter for the Cardinal. Kind of interesting. I thought Elijah Brown, if you guys remembered and have already watched our week 0 preview in the preseason, a little video that we put together, we thought Elijah Brown, who comes out of a very powerhouse, very highly touted modern day high school, started all 4 years, one of the very rare freshmen that has ever done that at the quarterback position. The last time I think that happened, it was Matt Barkley at the helm for that high school. So, he has a lot of potential. I think he still does, even if it doesn't work out to have him be the starter this year. Just another year for him to, listen and learn, get his feet a little bit more wet, maybe down the line. Who knows? Maybe he does it again like he did last season and taking over the starting job. Just won't have the same amount of weapons. that he did last season. There was a mass exodus at wide receiver. I think Tiger Bachmeier was obviously one of those guys that unfortunately Stanford loses. But we'll see also because they did definitely get some guys that should be very useful. It's just, Frank Rich and the interim head coach, him locking in this kind of job, I guess, for the foreseeable future. That's kind of the big thing. But he also has experience as well. He's a former head coach in the NFL. Most likely will make this a game. But we're also going to go not with the away team that is in the ACC. I think they're going to be struggling. Hawaii is going to be able to, I think, make it a very difficult opening. I don't think this is going to be much of a blowout. It's going to be a game of jockeying positions and setting up field goals. Quite a bit of field goals is what we're expecting. Micah Alejandro will be starting for the Rainbow Warriors, the new QB1. We are very excited for him. He's a former Bishop Gorman product. Took over towards the end of the last season, had an amazing game against New Mexico on tearing them up. Almost got 500 yards through the air. I think it was over 500 yards in total from through the air and on the ground. I think he's going to be a touchdown machine and kind of just adds that extra gear that Hawaii really needs on offense. I think they can play some great defense, but it's just how is it going to work on the other side of the ball? If they could score points, not only in this game, but throughout the season, it's going to be because of Alejandro, a great young quarterback that everyone should be keeping an eye on the next couple of seasons. He's just going to be a great bright spot for the Rainbow Warriors. Who we are going with in this game, again, we think they're going to be physical enough. Stanford, I mean, they lost some guys, not even just midway through the portal, towards the end. The Bachmeier move, where we see now that Bear Bachmeier, who we talked about in the last Monday stream, who is now the starter, got announced on Monday for BYU. He had the potential to be the starter at Stanford, but just was not given the opportunity. So that's kind of like where we're seeing, like, maybe the coaching's not there at the moment. They'll have to prove us wrong and why we're going with a Mountain West team. And it would be a big win for Hawaii to get that win again for the conference, because that just helps out, I guess, the committee's decision on how, I guess, again, good the Mountain West is. It's more of a better thing for Boise State because they're going to be leading the conference most likely and are the favorites. The last game we're going to pre-snap preview for the stream is the big one. Don't forget, we will be doing a watch along this Saturday morning for the Shamrock Classic. Kansas State versus Iowa State. Number 18 versus number 15 here at your Sports Outpost Top 25. It is Farmageddon in Ireland. The last 3 years, this game has been determined by one possession. And it should be again this upcoming year. I would say this one, the Stanford Hawaii game, and then the Fresno State Kansas game should be the most entertaining, which is it should be expected because there's only 5 games this weekend. But yeah, this game is just going to definitely be close because it's Avery Johnson versus Rocco Beck. 2 quarterbacks that are part of a great Big 12 conference of quarterbacks at the moment. I think they probably have all of the, or at least quarterback depth wise, they can go probably like 6 to 8 teams deep. Maybe some other Big 12 fans will, probably add a couple more to that, just depending on where they come from. But yeah, that's going to be where it comes down to which quarterback kind of gets nullified and is not allowed to operate. Avery Johnson definitely has a little bit more speed and athleticism than Beck, but also the distribution. He has definitely developed. There's a reason why they chose Avery Johnson over Will Howard, because of potential in letting this guy grow. But he does have his issues. There is some, cons to him. He should definitely, again, develop into a better passer. I thought he protected the ball pretty good It was just against elite defenses, especially secondaries. We saw Arizona State, kind of not let them get anything down the field. But again, you have to contain him. If there's nothing there, I think that's where his development has come in really well. Is that he just gets out of the pocket and then finds a lane or two where defenses struggle to keep him again contained in the pocket. If you can't do that, Kansas State's going to have a good time, and you're not. And I think we'll probably add some more to it on Saturday morning when we do the watch along. I got to get all of the lineups and graphics ready for that game, which is going to be a lot of fun to be adding to the watch alongs this season. We're going to go a little bit more in depth, I would say, and then obviously taking our notes, talking about it a little bit more at halftime on how the game's progressing. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Hopefully you come and join us. And yeah, that is going to be it for the previews. We're obviously going to go with Kansas State. We just like Avery Johnson and what he has to offer. Even though Iowa State does have a pretty decent offensive line, very experienced. Actually, Kansas State has some transfer guys I was surprised that weren't announced as starters, or at least on the depth chart, who are coming from pretty good schools like Penn State that started there. USC is also in the mix of guys coming in from there through the transfer portal. And again, that is the map for the 5 games. I believe our aftermath show is going to get moved from a Sunday.